In today's world, the influence of religious scholars on how we understand faith is undeniable. Figures like Zakir Naik highlight a troubling contradiction between their vocal claims about Islamic values and their actual behavior. This hypocrisy not only casts doubt on their integrity, but also undermines the core principles of the religion they claim to uphold. Nowhere is this more evident than in Naik's recent controversies. His demand for special treatment while traveling, and his troubling misogynistic views, which reveal a disconnect that raises serious questions about his true beliefs and intentions. Zakir Naik's request to the Pakistan International Airlines, or PIA, for an exemption on excess baggage fees starkly contrasts with the Islamic teachings of equality and humility. Islam at its core advocates for justice and equal treatment among all individuals, regardless of their status or background. Yet here is a prominent Islamic preacher who not only sought special privileges, but also made disparaging comparisons between India and Pakistan, implying a sense of entitlement that undermines the principles of equality he seemingly champions. This act illustrates a mindset that prioritizes personal gain over the collective ethos of the community. Such behavior raises pertinent questions. How can a religious figure who speaks of moral integrity simultaneously engage in actions that reflect a sense of superiority and entitlement? This contradiction is not merely a personal failing. It represents a broader issue within segments of religious leadership, where the sanctity of faith is compromised by self-serving interests. In an era where the public increasingly scrutinizes religious authorities, this disconnect may alienate followers seeking genuine guidance and undermine the credibility of Islam itself. Naik's recent refusal to interact with young girls at a Pakistani charity event further underscores the disturbing implications of his beliefs. By labeling these children as na-mehram, he invokes a rigid interpretation of Islamic law that not only distorts the concept of innocence, but also fosters a culture of misogyny. The term na-mehram refers to individuals of the opposite sex with whom one cannot marry, generally applicable to adults. To extend this designation to young girls, children, exposes a deeply troubling mindset. This rigid interpretation not only robs these girls of their childhood, but also perpetuates harmful ideologies that can lead to greater societal issues, including the normalization of misogyny and the policing of female agency. Such beliefs blur essential lines, creating an environment where women and girls are viewed through the lens of suspicion, rather than as individuals deserving of respect and dignity. Encouraging such thought processes is dangerous. It can cultivate a mindset that objectifies women and diminishes their worth, eroding the very foundation of compassion and justice that Islam seeks to promote. The Pakistani government's decision to welcome Zakir Naik, including a meeting with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, raises significant ethical concerns. By facilitating Naik's visit, the government not only legitimizes his controversial views, but also risks endorsing a narrative that contradicts the principles of equality and justice inherent in Islam. This endorsement can have far-reaching consequences, as it signals to the public that extremist views and discriminatory practices can be tolerated, if not celebrated, within the framework of religious discourse. In a time when societal divisions and tensions are often exacerbated by radical ideologies, it is crucial for governments to reflect on the implications of their actions. Inviting figures like Naik to speak in Pakistan can undermine efforts to promote a more inclusive and harmonious society. It invites scrutiny not only of the individuals involved, but also of the values that the government chooses to uphold. Zakir Naik, along with other radical religious scholars, occupies a platform that affords them significant influence over their followers. When such individuals profit off religion, commodifying spiritual teachings for personal gain, they distort the essence of faith. This commercialization of spirituality can lead to a cunning form of exploitation, where followers are led to believe that their salvation or spiritual fulfillment is contingent upon adhering to the ideologies preached by these figures. Moreover, this form of hypocrisy perpetuates a narrative that paints Islam in a negative light. When religious leaders champion extremist views and engage in discriminatory behavior while claiming to uphold the values of Islam, they inadvertently contribute to the stigmatization of the religion as a whole. This is exasperated in a global context where Islamophobia is rampant, leading to misconceptions about the faith that can have far-reaching consequences for Muslim communities. The hypocrisy exhibited by figures like Zakir Naik demands a critical reassessment of religious authority and the impact of their teachings on society. Islam at its core preaches equality, justice, and compassion, values that are grossly undermined by radical interpretations and self-serving behavior. As members of the global community, we must engage in open dialogues that challenge these harmful ideologies and advocate for a more inclusive and equitable understanding of faith. In doing so, we not only safeguard the integrity of Islam, but also work towards dismantling the structures of misogyny and discrimination that have been perpetuated under the guise of religious scholarship. It is imperative that we encourage a more nuanced and compassionate interpretation of faith, one that respects the dignity of every individual, particularly the most vulnerable among us. Only through such efforts can we hope to combat the negative portrayals of Islam that arise from the actions of those who claim to represent it.